Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining Shivaktam class or Sangha and attentive japa. So let's make a start on Canto 6 today. And we're going to be talking about a few personalities as mentioned earlier. But today we're going to talk about committing sinful acts. What does that, what happens when you commit sinful acts? So here, Shukdev Goswami is explaining to Maharaj Parikshit, and Maharaj Parikshit is asking him, "Oh, greatly fortunate and opulent Shukdev Goswami, now kindly tell me how human beings may be saved from having to enter hellish planets or hellish conditions in which they suffer terrible pains." So, Srila Prabhupada mentions that in the 26th chapter of the 5th canto, which we just left, Shukdev Goswami has explained that people who commit sinful acts are forced to enter hellish planets and suffer. So planets are there, ready and waiting for those people who deserve to be there. Just like we have prisons in this country and all over the world, every country has prison houses where the criminals are sent. So this is could say God's extreme prison. It sends them to the hellish planets to suffer. Now, Maharaj Parikshit, being a devotee, is concerned with how this can be stopped. A Vaishnava is para dukha dukhi. In other words, he has no personal troubles, but he is very unhappy to see others in trouble. Prahlad Maharaj said, my Lord, I have no personal problems, for I have learned how to glorify your transcendental qualities and thus enter a trance of ecstasy. I do have a problem, however, I am simply thinking of these rascals and fools who are busy with the Maya Sukha, temporary happiness, without knowledge of devotional service onto you. This is a problem faced by a Vaishnava. So a Vaishnava is more concerned about others' welfare rather than his or her own welfare. Because a Vaishnava fully takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it may still have problems, but they still sees the mercy of the Lord. So he is compassionate toward the fallen conditioned souls. He's always thinking of plans to save them from their hellish life in this body and the next. So Parikshit Maharaj therefore actually wanted to know from Shukadeva Goswami, so how humanity can be saved from gliding down to hell. Shukadeva Goswami had already explained how people enter hellish life, and he could also explain how they could be saved from it as well. So there's a problem, there's always a solution. Intelligent men must take advantage of these instructions. Unfortunately, however, the entire world is lacking Krishna consciousness, and therefore people are suffering from the grossest ignorance and don't even believe in a life after this one. To convince them of the next life is very difficult because they have become almost mad in their pursuit of material enjoyment. Nobody's got time to even listen. Nevertheless, our duty, the duty of all sane men, is to save them. Maharaj Parikshit is the representative of one who can save them. So let's pray. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ukam Prativacham. Pangum Yang. Lam Yate Garim Yat Kirpatam Mandashi Gurundi Taranam Paramnanda Madham Shitana Ishram Hari Om Tassat. Narayanam Naskritya Naram Cheva Narotmam Devim Sasvyasam Tado Jayamadirya Nasta Presha Vadireshu Nitam Bhagavad Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtiki. So Shukadeva Goswami replied, my dear king, if before one's next death, whatever impious acts one has performed in this life with his mind, words, and body are not counteracted through proper atonement, according to the description of the Manu Samhita and other Dharma Shastras. One will certainly enter the hellish planets after death and undergo terrible suffering, as I have previously described to you. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions that although Maharaj Parikshit was a pure devotee, Sukadeva Goswami did not immediately speak to him about the strength of devotional service. So, as mentioned in the Bhagavad-Gita 14:26, Mamcha yo vebi charena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samityetan brahma bhuya kalpate. So, devotional service is so strong that if one fully surrenders to Krishna and takes fully to his devotional service, the reactions of his sinful life immediately stop. So that is the solution to get rid of our previous karma. So, karma you have control over. Elsewhere in the Bhagavad-Gita 1866, Lord Krishna urges that one give up all other duties and surrender unto him. And he promises, Aham tvam sarva papibhyo moksha gishami masucha. I shall free you from all sinful reactions and give you liberation. Therefore, in response to the inquiries of Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami, his guru, would have immediately explained the principle of bhakti, but to test Parikshit Maharaj's intelligence, he first prescribed atonement according to Karma Kand. So he wanted to see whether Parikshit Maharaj understands the ladder or the process, because that should be at least the minimum we should be doing to counteract the reactions of our deeds. Minimum is Karma Kand. The path of fruity activities. For Karma Kand, there are 80 authorized scriptures such as Manu Samhita, which are known as Dharma Shastra. In these scriptures, one is advised to counteract his sinful acts by performing other types of fruitive action. Or with Karma Kand, you can make sure you end up in a good planet, Svarglok. So this was the path first recommended by Sukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. And actually, it is a fact that one who does not take to devotional service must follow the decision of the scriptures by performing pious acts to counteract these impious acts. This is known as atonement. So therefore, before one's next death comes, which means we've had many deaths and many lives, as long as one's body is strong enough, one should quickly adopt the process of atonement according to Shastra. Otherwise, one's time will be lost and the reactions of his sins will increase. As an expert physician diagnoses and treats a disease according to its gravity, one should undergo atonement according to the severity of one's sins. So the medicine you take depends on what disease you have. Stronger the disease, the stronger the medicine has to be. The Dharma Shastras, like the Manu Samhita, prescribe that a man who has committed murder should be hanged and his own life sacrificed in atonement. So that's the medicine, that's the cure for that kind of person, recommended by the Shastra, that if you are committed a murder, it's life for life, then you should give up your life, because otherwise you will suffer in your future lives. That is supreme justice. But thing to remember is that supreme justice doesn't mean that God likes to punish people. The universe is very compassionate. That's the way of showing. It's a correctional system. It's not just punishment for the sake of punishment. It's a correctional system to correct the living entity going forward. Previously, this system was followed all over the world, but since people are becoming atheists, they are stopping capital punishment. This is not wise. Here it is said that a physician who knows how to diagnose a disease prescribes medicine accordingly. If the disease is very serious, the medicine must be strong. The medicine must be strong. The weight of a murderous sin is very great, and therefore, according to Manu Samhita, a murderer must be killed. By killing a murderer, the government shows mercy to him, because if a murderer is not killed in this life, he will be killed and forced to suffer many times in future lives. Since people don't know about the next life and the intricate workings of nature, they manufacture their own laws, but they should properly consult the established injunctions of the Shastras and act accordingly. In India, even today, the Hindu community often takes advice from expert scholars regarding how to counteract sinful activities. In Christianity, also, there is a process of confession and atonement, but then they go and sin again. Therefore, atonement is required, and atonement must be undergone according to the gravity of one's sinful acts. So, atonement does not mean that now your account is zero, then you can go and now can restart your sinful acts. It's like if you go high cholesterol and you bring it down to a good level, now you think, okay, my cholesterol is good level now. Now I can start eating, anything I want, take a lot of ghee, fat, milk, and binge eating, and eat samosas and everything. This now doesn't necessarily work like that. Otherwise, you're going around in circles like this. Maharaj Pariksit said, one may know that sinful activity is injurious for him because he actually sees that the criminal is punished by the government and rebuked by people in general. And because he hears from scriptures and learned scholars that one is thrown into hellish conditions in the next life for committing sinful acts, nevertheless, in spite of such knowledge, one is forced to commit sins again and again. So even though you know that, like smoking, written on the packet, smoking is injurious to health, or smoking kills, smoking gives these diseases, but people still continue to smoke. So in spite of such knowledge, one is forced to commit sins again and again, even after performing acts of atonement. Therefore, what is the value of such atonement? In some religious sects, sinful man goes to a priest to confess his sinful acts and pay a fine, but then he again commits the same sins and returns to confess them again. This is the practice of a professional sinner. So professional sinner means that's his life. That's how he lives. Sin. Parikshit Maharaj observations indicate that even 5,000 years ago, it was the practice of criminals to atone for their crimes, but then commit the same crimes again, as if forced to do so. Therefore, owing to his practical experience, Parikshit Maharaj saw that the process of repeatedly sinning and atoning is pointless. There has to be the system where you can just completely shut these criminal acts off. This is like just cleaning and making yourself dirty and cleaning, dirty. There has to be a system where it's like completely you can remain clean. Regardless of how many times he is punished, one who is attached to sense enjoyment will commit sinful acts again and again, and until he is trained to refrain from enjoying his senses. The word indicating that one who does not want to commit sinful acts will be forced to do so by habit. Parikshit Maharaj therefore considered the process of atonement to have little value for saving one from sinful acts. Sometimes one who is very alert so as not to commit sinful acts is victimized by sinful life again. I therefore consider this process of repeated sinning and atoning to be useless. It is like the bathing of an elephant, for an elephant cleanses itself by taking a full bath, but then throws dust over its head and body as it returns to the land. So this is what we do, right? We ask for forgiveness, but only to sin again. When Parikshit Maharaj inquired how a human being could free himself from sinful activities so as not to be forced to go to hellish planetary systems after death, So we have like seeds of sins. We're committing sins, but we have other seeds that will fructify later on, and we'll get punishment for that. And also, there is the propensity that if we get away with something, then we are more inclined to do that again and again. Commit more sins. Shukadeva Goswami answered that the process of contracting sinful life is atonement. In this way, Shukadeva Goswami tested the intelligence of Maharaj Parikshit, who passed the examination by refusing to accept this process as genuine or something that is workable or practical. So Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Ved Vyas, answered, "My dear king, since acts meant to neutralize impious actions are also fruitive, they will not release one from the tendency to act fruitively. Persons who subject themselves to the rules and regulations of atonement are not at all intelligent. Indeed, they are in the mode of darkness. Unless one is freed from the mode of ignorance, trying to contract one action through another is useless, because this will not uproot one's desires. Thus, even though one may superficially seem pious, he will undoubtedly be prone to act impiously. Therefore, real atonement is enlightenment in perfect knowledge, Vedanta, by which one understands the supreme absolute truth." So the Guru Shukadeva Goswami has examined Parikshit Maharaj, and it appears that the king has passed one phase of the examination by rejecting the process of atonement because it involves fruit activities. Now, Shukadeva Goswami is testing the platform of speculative knowledge, progressing from Karam Khan to Gyan Khan. So coming up the ladder, now he's going to talk about Grand Khan. He is proposing Prashtitam Vimarshanam. Real atonement is for knowledge, Vimarshana. It refers to the cultivation of speculative knowledge. So in Bhagavad-Gita, karmis who are lacking in knowledge are compared to donkeys. Krishna says, Namam duskritino buddha prapadante nardamaha maya maya paharat jnana asunam bhavam ashritha. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Those karmis who engage in sinful acts and who do not know the true objective of life are called mudas, or asses, or donkeys. Vimarshana, however, is also explained in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, where Krishna says, Vedascha save aham eva vedya. The purpose of Vedic study is to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one studies Vedanta but merely advances somewhat in speculative knowledge and does not understand the Supreme Lord, one remains the same Buddha. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7:19, one attains real knowledge when he understands Krishna and surrenders unto him. Bahunam janmanamante, jnanvan mam parapadaite. So, Vasudeva Sarvati Sa Mahatma Sul Durlubha. To become learned and free from material contamination, therefore, one should try to understand Krishna, for thus one is immediately liberated from all pious and impious activities and their reactions. So it's mentioned further that to concentrate the mind, one must observe a life of celibacy and not fall down. One must undergo the austerity of voluntary giving of sense enjoyment. One must then control the mind and senses, give charity, be truthful, clean and non-violent, follow the regulatory principles, and regularly chant the holy name of the Lord. Thus, a sober and faithful person who knows religious principles is temporarily purified of all sins, performed with his body, words, and mind. These sins are like the dry leaves of creepers beneath a bamboo tree, which may be burned by fire, although their roots remain to grow again at the first opportunity. So this sounds very familiar. Sounds like the four regulative principles that we follow and chanting those 16 rounds. Only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds or sinful action with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. My dear king, if a sinful person engages in the service of bona fide devotee of the Lord and thus learns how to dedicate his life onto the lotus feet of Krishna, he can be completely purified. One cannot be purified merely by undergoing austerity, penance, brahmacharya, and other methods of atonement I have previously described. The path followed by pure devotees who are well behaved and fully endowed with the best qualifications is certainly the most auspicious path in this world. It is free from fear and it is authorized by the Shastras. My dear king, as a pot containing liquor cannot be purified even if you washed in the waters of many rivers, non-devotees cannot be purified by process of atonement, even if they perform them very well. So this is amazing. This is the thing that this shows how powerful medicine Krishna consciousness is, and we have these regulatory principles that we follow. We follow chanting. There's a reason behind it. It's not a punishment, or because we wanted to be here, in our material life, wanted to be proprietors and controllers, wanted to live without Krishna. It's not a punishment. It's a way, because if we keep sinning, if we keep going through that process, we never escape it. And this is the medicine or the escape route that we have been provided by Srila Prabhupada. That he's given us a map that you follow this process, and you can get out of this cycle of birth and death in this material world and go back to actually where you really should be, where you belong, your own home. So very nice process given. Although there are lower processes as well. If somebody can't follow this process, there are lower processes also given, karmakand process, but they're not permanent cures. They only cure for, they're only temporary cures. It's like a person who's alcoholic, he goes to a hospital and they cure him and rehab him, comes out after a bit, any small problem in life, is back again off the wagon, is drinking once again. So, and eventually doctors give up on these people. Although Krishna does not give up on us, but in material world, doctors will give up on this person. That what is the point of curing this person? That he's going to do the same thing again at the first opportunity. So we have this practical solution, permanent solution, and we should definitely follow it nicely. Thank you so much, Hina Mataji, Shani Mataji, Praveen Mataji, Punikaksh Prabhu, and Sureshi Mataji. Thank you for joining. Love to hear your views on this. Sureshi Mataji, like to hear from you. And then like to hear from Hina Mataji. Haven't heard for a while. So Sureshi Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
And in Kali Yuga, we see 90% of people, they're ignorant and they do sinful activities. People do sinful activities because of their past karma. They had a bad habit, and because when you die, your mind and three things go with you. Okay. My mind went blank. Three things will go with the soul. What is it? Mind and
soul,
subtle body.
mind, intelligence, and ego.
I can't think. I'm getting old. My mind is not very good now. The subtle body that goes with the soul, and then that habit is there. So you start doing the sinful activities again. and or with a bad association, like Ajamil. He was a Brahmana, but he had a bad association, so he started doing sinful activities. Or they don't believe in God. They're not afraid of God because they're ignorant and they had bad association all the time. So if they steal again, also habit. Some people got habit to do, like people stealing. They go to prison, they come out again and do keep on stealing. They've got the habit. And people don't know what is, they haven't been, probably it's in the family, people if they follow the parents or the generation, they do sinful activities and the children they follow, so they do it as well. Or it depends, that's why you have to bring your children Krishna conscious way. And they don't know what is the action, what is reaction, what is good to do, what is bad. It's karma and vikarma. And to get rid of the bad habits, it's the best to have association with devotees and then chant the mantra and read the books. And they don't know that they'll be punished, because if you read the books, it's like in the Canto 4, it says, tell you that if you do sinful reaction, you get punished, what kind of hellish planets you got. So they're not aware of, they're very, very ignorant of these things, because they never had association of anybody to tell them. So the best thing is to get the association with the devotees and read religious book like Bhagavatam, and you learn lot of from the acharyas, spiritual masters, and with the association you can learn. There's a Hindi, I don't know whether you had the Sangat se gun aave, Sangat se gun jaye. That means you become nice habits if you associate with good people. Bad habits you associate with bad people. Yeah, I just remembered that what Gautsakra's mind, intelligence, and false ego go with soul. So that you carry with you. So if you purify your mind, intelligence, and false ego, then you will have a good happy in the next life. Otherwise, you're gonna carry again and again. You'll never get out of for a habit. So the best thing is to be a Krishna conscious, have association with them to get your all sinful activities, and you have to atone before you leave this body. You have to do atonement. And a lot of people that they're ignorant. My thing is they're ignorant. They have no knowledge. That's why they're doing all these sinful activities, because of ignorance. They have no knowledge. If they had knowledge, they won't do it. So best thing is to have knowledge, get associated with people who you can learn from them. So that's what I can say today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, wonderful points, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hina Mataji?
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. It's some very nice points. Such a nice class. It was all about how we can avoid entering how we can avoid entering hellish planets. And some lovely points about how devotees are always trying to save others from going down to hell. I was thinking about how there's always a consequence for every action, and we can't escape that. The only we can't run from the punishment. We can't escape any punishment that's due to us. It will eventually come. I think the whole karmic web is very complex. It's very sophisticated. And yeah, sometimes when things happen to us or bad things happen to us, we just need to just see it as Krishna's mercy, that we are getting what is due to us good and bad, basically. Sometimes we can't understand it, but it's usually for our benefit. That's the only way to look at it, that we're getting what we are due, and that's just due to his mercy. There's no you also mentioned how there's no point in atoning, because, especially people who atone and then continue a life of sin. It doesn't really address the root problem. It's pointless. And as Mataji has already said, real atonement is knowledge. It's knowledge about Krishna, self-realization, and which is obtained through Guru and Shastra. So it's only through this process that one can start to follow the four regulated principles, start to purify one's life. And chanting is the ultimate medicine for this age. Chanting, as I understand, chanting the Lord's name destroys more sins than you can ever perform. So it wipes out lifetimes and lifetimes of bad karma. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Pundikash Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Hare Krishna everyone. Yeah, so many points already mentioned by Mataji already. In the beginning, I just want to share a few things, Prabhuji. Like in the beginning, when you mentioned about Paradukha Dukhi, I was listening to a lecture from Lal Govind Prabhu yesterday on 14 jewels that come out of Manthan, and he said the first jewel is wish, and very short, like Lord Shiva, when he was asked to take the wish, he was about to go, but he said, no, wait a minute, I'll tell to my wife first before I'm taking this wish. So poison. So when he went, and he told in a way that Mother Parvati will get convinced automatically. So he expressed in a very nice way. And Mother Parvati finally said that if it's only distress for me, if something happened to you after taking this poison, but all others are saved, then I'm okay with that. So that is like Paradukha Dukhi. And he said, like, if somebody is in a trouble, even though you can't do anything, but still, at least you feel sad for them and you try to do something for them. You may not necessarily bring them out of the trouble, but at least feel sympathy for them and then try to help them. That's the main thing. And then Lord Vishnu will be happy even if you do that. So Paradukha Dukhi, that I liked it. And then when we are reading chapter 4 Bhagavad-Gita, it is mentioned about the loophole. So it's all about atonement, like the bijam, papam. I mean, desire will always be there in the mind. So mind has to be free from desire itself. Renunciating outwardly is not something which will help you, but the desire has to come out of the mind. Otherwise, you will keep on continuing your mistakes. Sinful reactions you will be doing it, and then you fall into the cycle of birth and death all the time. And it's only devotional service which will help you to remove that unwanted desire from the mind. And second thing, I'm working in software for about 20 years now. We develop every software, and even after 20 years of experience also, we leave a loophole in that. But here, every sin is already covered. So planets are, as you mentioned in the beginning, that planets are already there. That means there is no sin which Lord cannot expect that this person won't do. So it's really nice that for everything, there is everything ready already. That's all, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Very nice. Yeah. Just Krishna knows, he knows our mind. He knows what we're capable of, and he knows what we're going to do in the future. He's called Darshi, and he understands where we're going, through our habits and through our nature. He knows where we're going. So he has a prison house ready and waiting that, that's what I'm going to send you. Because this is all, we sometimes, just like we develop the new body through our consciousness, it's a reflection or expansion of our consciousness, the next body. So maybe, I don't remember reading this. I'm just thinking that maybe then planets are actually a expansion or a reflection of our consciousness. What kind of consciousness we believe. Then the planet is, manifested accordingly for our atonement up there. So it's better to atone in Krishna consciousness rather than having to atone in a hellish planet. And this example given Like just say, like when you have a blood test, they put a plaster on your on where they injected you. So which is better, to just peel it off in one go and it's very painful, or nicely put it under a cold tap or something and let the plaster come off gently. So the Krishna consciousness is a very, very gentle process, I think, and we should surrender to it, because otherwise we have to pay. For every action there's a reaction, so we have to pay. We have to suffer the consequences. So it's better that we take to the process, because we can't just do whatever we want and hoping that it won't have any, or nobody's watching, nobody's seeing it. Everything has been watched 24/7. There's a CCTV going on, which we cannot escape, and we have to pay for the consequences. You want to say something?
Hare Krishna. I just carrying on to what you were saying. The CCTV is within our hearts. It's not even further than our bodies. So the CCTV is watching not just our actions, is watching the beach, like Prabhu just said, the start of the scene which happens in our thoughts. So we have got there's no escape route. The only escape route, like you were saying, is the Krishna consciousness map. There's no two ways about it. So after understanding everything, actually, I think we should all try. But on the other side, it seems that at the same time, I'm sure all of us, even after knowing everything, we do commit something every day, either in our thoughts or in our desires or in our actions. So it's only the causeless mercy, isn't it, that is going to deliver us. Otherwise, like you said, there is all kinds of enjoyments, all kinds of suffering created by Krishna that is due to our desires. And on the other hand, there is a spiritual world which is waiting for us. But how shameful, isn't it, that we know everything, but still we're enjoying this Ferris wheel of life and death, just going round and round in circles. So let us pray every day to Krishna that he can keep us under the nice association of the devotees and under the guidance of the gurus and under the umbrella of ISKCON, which Srila Prabhupada has created for us, and the Acharya's teachings make sense to us, and we can at least apply one of the teachings in our life. I think we'll be sorted. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. And there's a saying that if you want to travel fast, then you travel alone. But if you want to travel far, then make sure you take company. You have company of others with you if you're going far. And Krishna conscious, it will take us far. We have a long way to go. So we should take the company and association of devotees. And we're calling it escape route today. So if you are taking any route, if you get lost on the way, don't be afraid to ask the way. Especially when you come to crossroads or junctions, which way do I go from here? We should not hesitate to ask people who know the way. So people are already there, who have been there, who can guide us. So association is very, very important. And we have Jai Prabhu. He has amazingly summarized a few points. Sinful actions are the cause of pain, both in this life and in the next. Unless one atones for impious acts performed by the mind, words, or body before death, they will have to undergo suffering in the hellish planets. There are different processes of atonement that are mentioned in the scriptures. One can become purified from the reactions of sinful life through austerity, penance, celibacy, control of the mind and senses, charity, non-violence, cleanliness, and truthfulness, also by following the directive principles and regularly chanting the holy name of the Lord. Atonement does not free one from the tendency to commit sinful activities. Repeating sinning and atoning is useless. Only by complete and alloyed devotion service, Krishna can one be freed from the tendency of sinful life, as well as burning to ashes the reactions of sinful actions. One who has fixed his mind at the lotus feet of Krishna is guaranteed not to meet the Yamdutas at the time of death.
Beautiful.
So thank you so much, Prabhu. I don't know how you managed that so quickly because I didn't see you earlier. But thank you for that. That's wonderful. And let's do, unless anybody else has any points or would like to say something, we can do a couple of rounds. Okay. So Surishi Mataji, first round, and Prabhu Mataji, second round. Hare Krishna.
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपताय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी विचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चातादि प्रतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासुदेव गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण